Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Purple Mountain podcast. We want to welcome everyone who's joining us, whether you're listening to us, watching us live on Facebook, on YouTube. We just want to welcome you all and thank you for your love and support. I want to send our love out to all our brothers and sisters in our community and wider community right around the world. I'm here, of course, with Stephen, and we have a special guest and friend of ours tonight, Leighton Lewis. He's very kindly given his time to share his journey and his experiences with us, in the hope once again that some of it will resonate with you tonight and you'll be able to take some of the information. It'll assist you maybe on your journey, take you down a road that you need to walk for a new experience. At any point, it is interactive tonight, so anything you want to comment or maybe you want to ask a question, and we can do that. And we just want to welcome everybody that's joining us once again, and most importantly, we want to welcome you, Leighton, to our podcast.
Thank you very much, guys. It's I'm not going to lie, I am a little bit nervous, but I'm happy to be with you guys. Thank you.
It'd be absolutely fine. I'm sure you feel all the love and support of everybody watching as well. Will enjoy linking in and watching this. So, Leighton, we always like to start off with when we talk to anybody about your journey and your experiences. What's brought you to the point you're at now, and yeah, if you could share that with us to start, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've got to start off with an experience that I had when I was about 18. Like when I was younger, I was always like the biggest sort of like wreckhead of my group, and I used to like smoke a lot of weed, the resin, and I had this experience one night where I was walking home after like a heavy smoking session, and I felt like this little like a click in my chest, and I was walking home, and it was getting harder to breathe, and I got home, and I remember I put the telly on in my bedroom, and I lay down. I closed my eyes, and I could hear this man's voice in my head, telling me different people's names, how they died, what year they died, and all this information. And then I'd open my eyes again, and like it was just the news that was on the telly. And I closed my eyes again, and I could hear this voice again, telling me different people's names, how they died, what year they died. And like I opened my eyes again, and it was like the voice that I was hearing was a different voice to what was on the telly. And then I closed my eyes for the last time, and I saw myself lying down in darkness, and it was like I was having my spirit poured out of my body, and it started out of my head, and it was like I was being like held by the chin, and I was being like lifted out of my body like this, and it was moving as I was being lifted out. It was moving down my body, and it got to my knees, and I wet the bed, and like I was alarmed by what was going on. So like I woke my mum up, bless her, and I told her to call the ambulance. And then the next thing I remember, I was in the hospital with my dad, and like he was like really upset about what was going on, like cause like they weren't too sure what was happening with me, and yeah, and like I'm not too sure what happened after that, like, but obviously I stopped smoking weed after that. Yeah. And so yeah, that was like my first experience that I had, like I don't know, like a mystical experience, if you like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought nothing of it after that. And I used to do a lot of DJing when I was younger around North Wales, and like so I was really heavy into the rave scene, and like ended up developing like a dependency on speed, and I was like really bad on this stuff. And got to a point where I was doing it like near enough every single day for like a long time. And this one night, I got caught in a club with like loads of narcotics on me, and I went to prison for it. And like while I was in prison, I met this African guy, and like he was explaining to me. I mean, I've never been into the Bible and stuff like this, like back then, but like he was explaining to me about God's plan and Jesus and all this, like, and like the way he explained it to me, it was like I had a bigger purpose to serve on this planet, and if I was going to carry on how I was, then I wouldn't have made it. And so that's why I ended up like where I ended up, and like that's always stayed with me, like all the time. And I spent like a year in prison, which was like a huge year for me, because like obviously I got away from the scene for a year, and sorted myself out, but like I wasn't aware at the time, but I was kind of developing like mental health issues while I was in there. And when I come out, a couple of months later, I met my daughter's mum, had my daughter, and then me and her split up. And then I was going through all these like my head was going really, like because of like the drug abuse, but also as well I ended up dependent on the speed again, and so I was doing that quite often again, like, and I developed a speed induced psychosis, and like I was hearing like loads of these voices. It was like I was in like a crowded room all the time with loads of people talking over each other, and like my head was just like I didn't know what was going on. And like eventually they diagnosed me, and they wanted to diagnose me with schizophrenia as well, because I was like I just wasn't myself. And eventually I had like a full-on mental breakdown, which I understand now was a part of my process of like where I am now.
Yeah.
And I cut myself off away from all my friends, and like the rave scene and stuff like this, like, and I had like a period of time where I was quite isolated, and I wasn't doing much. I was working with my dad at the time, and I lost that job because I just wasn't well. I nearly lost my daughter, but it was her that kind of like powered me through it. Do you know what I mean? Thinking of losing her was like my worst nightmare. So I kind of got myself off all the medication they put me on, and yeah, and I come off all that, and then 2011, 2012, like in between Christmas and New Year's, I went to a weekend rave in Pontins, Prestatyn, and like we were doing like legal highs, and I kind of like overdone it, and I had this experience where like I mean, I'm convinced that I died. I don't know what happened to me, but like all I remember was like I come out of my body, like all my friends were like standing around me. The girlfriend I was with at the time was like just over me. I wasn't too sure if she was like on my chest or whatever, but I come out of my body, and I was moving higher, away from my body, away from the earth, and it got to a point where I was like looking down at the earth, and then I noticed this, like it's like a rod of light come over from my left, and I was watching it shoot down towards the earth, and it must have like hit my body on the ground, and just like that, I was back in my body, and I come round, and I was just making sure that I was here, and then I passed out again, and then I remember waking up in our room, and like had this experience where like I was in these loops. I was experiencing these loops, and like at first, I had this belief where I was the whole universe, and I made this loop out of nothing, and like I was just living in this like 2-3 minute loop, and then it's going over and over again, and even the people in the room were experiencing the loop with me.
Oh.
And like I worked out like if I moved in a different way, that I could get out of that loop. But every time I moved in a different way, it was like I was being ripped out of one reality and then moving into another one. And the pain that I experienced like through my whole body was just like, oh my God, it was horrendous. And like once I'd ripped myself out of that one, I was in like another loop, and because I knew what to do, I moved like in a different way to the last loop, and I ripped myself out of that one, and then another one, and then the next thing I remember, I woke up like in the bedroom, like my girlfriend at the time lying next to me. All my friends were like standing over me like that, just making sure that I was okay. And I was like, oh my God, am I alive? Am I alive? And I just like broke down. And yeah, it was safe to say that we left the weekend early, because that was only after the first night. So it was like, yeah, it was an experience, man, which like really traumatized me for like a long time. And the next thing I remember after that, I was walking, because my girlfriend at the time used to live in Rill, got the taxi, and I was walking down towards her house. I've never been so like exhausted in all my life, and I could hear and like feel all this like all inside my brain, and like I just had this like image of like hundreds of little like electricians like rewiring my brain,
Working away.
Yeah, it was really, really bizarre. And like it was that experience where it was after that experience where like, because I'd had this like a full-blown out-of-body experience, I knew like for sure, I kind of knew anyway, like, but I knew for sure that I was more than this physical body. And like, so started like looking into like spirituality and stuff like this. And it was after that experience I completely isolated away from like everybody. Like me and the girl at the time split up because I'd gone through this huge change, and like I cut myself off away from everybody for like about 18 months. And at the back of my mum's in Wales is like a gorgeous little woodland where I used to play as a kid. And like one day after this experience, I went in there, and like I could feel all the trees, and like all just like the energy of the place. Like, and because I'd been in it as a kid, it's like the trees welcomed me back, and like I really had this like sense that I was welcome there. Do you know what I mean? And like, and then I spent a lot of time meditating in the woods and stuff by the little stream there, and just like wondering what was going on. At the time as well, I was studying to become a electrician. I was doing my level 3 at the time, and like after this experience, I used to skip lessons quite often, like, and just drive off into the mountains and just like sit there, just like wondering what's happening to me, because like I didn't have anybody to talk to, didn't know nobody that was going through like I never knew at the time, but I didn't know anybody that was going through like an awakening, and like I used to receive quite often these like, it's like a stream of energy just going into my head, and I could feel it like rushing down my spine, and like, because I didn't know what was going on, I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Like, am I dying, or I just
It
didn't know
must
what
have
was
been
going on.
quite. It must have been quite overwhelming at points.
It
You know,
really,
through a
really
lot,
was.
and I really appreciate your honesty with what you're sharing as well. I think a lot of people will. You know how open you've been in sharing that journey, and that's you know, a lot of difficult. I just want to backtrack, if it's all right with you, a little bit.
Yeah,
That, you know, when you're talking about, which I'm sure a lot of people relate to, when you said you were working and you were working as a DJ and such, and you know, you were taking you know, speed and stuff like that. And was that sort of because it was sort of part of what you were involved with, or was it? Do you feel it was sort of masking something, or was it for
Um,
energy? What do you
I
feel it
mean,
was for at the time?
at the time, because like I started, I hope my mum's not listening, but like I started using ecstasy and speed when I was 16, and I mean, I was one of the last ones of my group of friends to like try it, and then I ended up like the worst. And looking back now, I mean, at the time, I was like, I just used to love the buzz. I really, really did used to love the buzz. I've always been into like rave music and stuff like that anyway, and like I've always been into like the darker sound of music and things. And yeah, it was just, I just used to love it. I really
Yeah,
did. Like,
part of what you were experiencing at that time.
yeah, and like it used to like open me up as well. Do you know what I mean? I used to not like when I was younger, but like later on, I used to like see entities and stuff all the time, and I used to get like visitations and stuff like when I was like on the speed.
Yeah,
It's like I used to love the way my head used to go after being awake for like 3-4 days, and like I just used to be open. I used to like see UFOs all the time, and like yeah, I've had quite a few UFO experiences as well, where like I've like been like um, followed by lights in the sky and things like that, and
wow.
crazy experiences. Yeah,
Yeah, we've been speaking a lot actually in the last couple of interviews about other worlds and connections and experiences people have been having. But yeah, it's and you know, that sort of time you said when you were in when you were in prison for a year. Was it a year? Did you say?
yeah.
It was, that must have been quite sort of sobering
Mm,
and quite difficult. I mean, as in uh, being restricted, and then you sort of, it's almost like being stuck with a mirror a little bit in some
mm,
sense.
yeah,
And so that must have been a sort of hard time to ride through within yourself.
yeah. It was especially the first couple of months, because like obviously because I used to use like the speed quite regular.
Yeah,
I went from having it regular to like to not having it at all, and like
going completely cold turkey. Yeah,
oh my God, my head was up my ass. It really was. So like for the first couple of months in there, it was really like mentally challenging for me. But
yeah,
like once I was over that, like it kind of got easier. Um, but yeah, I realized how like mentally strong I am. And yeah, I learned like a massive amount about myself while I was in there. So yeah, it's like a blessing in disguise, obviously. So
yeah,
yeah,
great opportunity to learn and grow.
totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you talk about sort of starting to feel like you needed to reach out on a more sort of spiritual path, where was the sort of first stop that you were able to sort of connect with people or a group or somebody that you were like, yeah, this is a bit of what I'm looking for?
Well, after my experience, I mean, I used to meditate for like 2-3 hours a day, and I used to really like go places. And for about 18 months, I mean, I had nobody around me that was going through anything that I was aware of anyway,
Yeah.
anything like similar to what I was going through. So like for about 18 months, I was kind of on my own. And then I reconnected with a couple of really old school friends, and like I started hanging about with them quite a lot. Like we used to have the odd session and stuff. And then my friend, like he had an experience, and then after that, me and him stopped all the session, and like we used to go for walks all the time. And it was then where we started working with the mushrooms, and
Oh,
that was about 2013, 2014 maybe.
right.
Yeah. And yeah, we used to do the mushrooms quite often. Like we had the mushroom Wednesdays. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. I just want to ask you there, Leighton. You talked about feeling alone and a bit isolated. I know a lot of that sort of changing in society with plant medicines. A lot more people are hearing about plant medicines and how it helps people. But what advisement could you give people? You talk about that part of your life where you were in prison. You're in those loops. What advisement, if anybody's watching this podcast tonight, wherever they are in the world, what advisement could you give now, looking back, to reach out? Is there people that you can reach out to who could help and guide you?
Yeah. Just like, just be, sit with yourself for as long as you need. And like, because I do believe that the best teacher is yourself and is your body. Yeah. And like once you start doing that inner work, then you will automatically attract all the people that you need, and like all the teachers, or like all the circumstances, all the events, or whatever it is. So like, yeah, don't distract yourself with, like, I don't know, Facebook or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Just really go within, and then the magic happens from there. So
yeah, it's a very powerful tool. I mean, you talked before about meditation and connecting with nature. That is such an incredible, powerful tool as well, isn't it? The nature part, meditation, and it's for all free stuff. Anybody in the world can do. It's all free.
Yeah,
and it's powerful.
Yeah, of course, and always, like I tell a lot of people this all the time: get barefoot, on the ground, in the dirt, on the grass, wherever. I mean, the earth is always giving off free electrons, like all the time. It's like an unlimited supply of this healing energy, and like we've got like entry points, like at the bottom of our feet, like well, entry or exit points, because like that's where a lot of toxins come out as well when you sweat. So like when you're barefoot on the grass, on the ground, or whatever, you're absorbing all these free electrons, and like there's even a lot of science around it now. It like reduces inflammation. It's amazing for you. Really is amazing for you. So yeah, advise that as well. Yeah, get barefoot, or even like in the rivers, in the lakes. Yeah, get in like natural waters. Like another healer, right there.
And it's a lot of people now. I mean, with COVID and with the lockdown, I feel even in our area where we live, there's so many more people now getting out back into nature, going back to water, going back to basic, and that's so important, isn't it? Getting back into nature, reconnecting back to Mother Earth.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people. Sorry, I just wanted to touch on that. As there's so many who, well, not so many, but some people get frustrated that they can't, leave the country or what have you. But we've got so much here where we live in this country. I'm talking about England, and it does give us a beautiful opportunity to appreciate our surroundings that are here, that we can get to quite easily. Yeah,
that's another thing as well, like, isn't it? Do you know what I mean, about all this COVID stuff is like, I mean, for me personally, it was like, even though I worked all the way through all the lockdowns, but like even for me, it was like a real opportunity to really like go within and like you said, Steve, reconnect with nature. I think that's where we're heading as well, like as a species. Like, do you know what I mean? We're coming away from like this consumerism and like the need for the next iPhone or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? That's eventually gonna fall away, and we are going to be back to basics and like come together as like a community. And like, that's where the power is, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I mean, the 1% like haven't got like anything on the population of the planet. Like, do you know what I mean? This is why like there's a massive like agenda to like cause like separation and divide all the time, when it's like, no, we're all one species, isn't it? I mean, we're here on the planet together, like, do you know what I mean? So we need to work together and work with the planet, and so the magic is yet to come.
I'm absolutely spot on there. It's something that me and Chris have said for years, is that the greatest thing that they try to do with all of us at the moment is to divide us and divide and conquer. But you're absolutely right, Leighton. We are one world. There is only one race, and that's the human race. And we need to get into that mindset. But what's really interesting, what you're talking about there with your past there, and it's very inspirational, and really for anybody watching, no matter where you are in your life, we've all got a story. We can all relate to our past, and we come from that suffering, from that darkness. But here we are. We've learned, we've grown, and we've become our true self. And I think just by talking about that, Leighton, will inspire a lot of people that not to give up, don't surrender, continue the fight, carry on. But what's really interesting is you talk a lot about the loops. And do you sort of feel that a lot of sort of the change in perception from what we call mind-based things to heart-based? So do you think a lot of what's happening is all about logic, using the mind, and actually we're moving back into emotion, we're moving back to the heart center? So do you think that's where a lot of mental health issues are in society?
Of course. I mean for me, like, throughout history, our heart's been the servant of the mind, and like now we're switching that so the mind is going to be the servant of the heart, and like that's where we're going to be living, like eventually. Do you know what I mean? Because like love is the key, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? As cliche that is, like, do you know what I mean? Love is the answer, and I do believe that like all this mental health stuff is like also the disconnect as well from nature, and like all this like pressure that we're under all the time to look a certain way, to get the next big car or iPhone or whatever it is, work stresses and all the bills and stuff like this. Like, do you know what I mean? The system's been designed in a way to keep us in that vibration, and we are going to be breaking free from that, and it's already happening now. I mean, everything is falling away, and also as well, like another reason as well is like all the Mayan stuff, 2011, 2012, moving out in the age of Pisces into Aquarius. Our solar system's in a different part of space now, so we're in like a new energy, and all these cosmic things that we don't really, or that we're not really aware of unless you look into it. All these are having a part to play. Like the Schumann resonance of the Earth is like spiking at 60 hertz and or like something like that, when it's always hovered at near enough 8 hertz. And like if you've looked into resonance and vibrations and things like that, like once it hits like a certain resonance, then the pattern changes on like a plate of sand or whatever. And like it's exactly the same with Earth, because the Earth's hitting these like resonances. I mean, this is why all these earthquakes are going off all the time, because the Earth is shifting. And like that's what's happening with us. We're going through these huge transformational experiences. I mean, more and more people are waking up now, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? So it's like
more and more all the time. I mean, there's so much that allow us maybe on the television and such to feel like we're in the minority, but the amount of people I meet and I've met and connected with tells me the exact opposite. I think there's more people becoming awake, and there's more people that is amazing to see that are doing that deep healing work on themselves and really discovering who they are. And I know with yourself and many others, this for me, it's if there is any pandemic, it's a mental health pandemic, if anything, that we're in, and we have been for a long time. And for me, the big question is, not always how we deal with individuals, but asking the questions, why do so many people feel that way deep down? Why do this feel so disconnected? Getting to the root and really asking those questions. And I think you've covered quite a bit with, technology side, phones and all these distractions and Facebook and then having to present a certain image on these things as well. But sort of in terms of mental health, what do you think is the way forward with working with people with mental health, and also in terms of the ways we can assist people?
I mean, for me, I would. I mean, obviously they're not for everybody, but psychedelics. But exercise, like away from the telly. Nature, doing things that you love doing that make you feel alive inside, cold water swimming or jumping out of a plane, whatever it is. Like doing things that you really want to do. I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, I've not got the time to do anything like that because of work, but like don't you spend like a couple of hours in front of the telly each night? And do you know what I mean? It's all about choices again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Choices. Yeah, choices. But like, for me, I mean, the biggest healer has been psychedelics. It really has.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
there's huge leaps there, isn't there, with particularly I've been watching a lot that's going on in America in terms of psilocybin and the use of mushrooms and mushroom therapies and one-to-one mushroom therapies that have had a huge impact. And this is where there are experiments going on, putting them next to antidepressants, but seeing with the psilocybin, the mushrooms, a much longer term real change as well.
Yeah. There's is it the John Hopkins?
Yeah.
Is that the research center in America, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's one of them.
Yeah. They're doing like amazing things, like even the use of MDMA on PTSD. I mean, they're having like amazing results with them, like MDMA.
Yeah.
And even ketamine as well. I mean, that's not for me, like, but apparently that's working wonders as well, like on people over in America with depression and PTSD. But yeah, I mean, for me, the mushrooms, like before I met the grandmother, like the mushrooms were like, oh my God, they really, really helped me piece my mind back together. They really, really did. They were like super grounding and life changing, man. They really were.
Oh, they're powerful stuff, and I think it's just. I mean, the movement, what I call the plant medicine movement now, is gaining such momentum, and there's so much hard science. There's so much science behind the use of things and plant medicine, such as psilocybin, the magic mushrooms or the mushrooms, and such positive effects with people's mental health. And it's absolutely amazing. So do you think, Leighton, before when we were talking about a reconnection, that plant medicines are very useful in our reconnection, a tool that we can all use, or some of us use, because not everybody will want to use plant medicine for that reconnection, but it is a very useful tool, isn't it? It
really, yeah, it really is. I mean, it makes you realize that we are nature as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not like apart from it. Like, we are it, and like that's what's missing, or that's what's been missing. I mean, this is why they designed like rubber shoes and things like that. Like, do you know what I mean? To disconnect from the earth. I mean, I used to read a lot of a guy called Drunvalo Melchizedek. Have you heard of him?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, he's like, I mean, he's a pretty out there guy, like, do you know what I mean? But like, he's done like loads of initiations with like loads of different tribes and stuff in America, and like he's like all those people. I've said the worst invention that humans have come up with is shoes.
Chris was talking about that the day when we went on the beach. Right.
Yeah. That's what, like, apparently these tribes people have come out and told this guy, like, do you know what I mean? And because the disconnect away from the earth energy, because we need the earth. I mean, even like our ancestors, all the cavemen and stuff like that, like, I mean, they were just on the earth all the time. They lived off the earth. I mean, obviously they had like like wild animals to contend with, like, do you know what I mean? But like that's where we're heading, like, do you know what I mean, as like a tribe, and that's where we're going, like reconnecting with the earth in that way. And I think that's like, it's needed. It really is needed.
Yeah. So what kind of advisement would you give then? So if if anybody's listening and they would like to take the route of the psychedelic or the plant medicine route, so what advisement? I mean, a lot of things that we say is finding the right facilitator, finding the right shaman. So what kind of advisement would you give anybody sort of seeking information, or if they're seeking a bit of guidance in that territory? What advisement would you give, Leighton?
If you've got any friends out there that are into that kind of thing, like any of my friends can always reach out to me, and I'll always like just explain my experiences. And like, I mean, that's all I can do at the end of the day. I can't like say that, oh yeah, they'll work for you 100%, like, because I don't know. I mean, I think they would. I mean, they more likely would, but like I said, mushrooms or like anything isn't for everybody. And like research as well, read up on like on all the studies that are happening. And like, if you've got any issues, just like, just do research. And of course, you need to connect with the right facilitator who is in like integrity, like, do you know what I mean? Because like, I mean, there are some horror stories out there with shamans and stuff, like, do you know what I mean, taking advantage. And it's like polarities as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's always the dark as well as the light. So like, we just need to use our intuition. And like, if a person like resonates with you, then listen to that inside you, like, do you know what I mean? Because your body knows. So yeah,
absolutely.
Wow, that intuition is very powerful. Very, very. That's something that's come up with my last ceremony, and it's very powerful. It's the most powerful thing that we've got as spirits. That intuition. The intuition will always guide us, no matter where we are and whatever situation we are. Never ever dismiss your intuition, because 9 times out of 10 it's always right.
Yeah, of course.
I'd like to ask just about sort of the current work you do, because we've been in a sort of healing space where you've been working. I just want to tell anybody out there, Leighton's very much like a spiritual soldier when he's working. He's absolutely, ready. He's ready. And I know you're very energy sensitive as well. So I'd really like you to share your experience with that as well, and what you feel in a healing space and how you sort of read the energy.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's not come overnight. I'm like a Reiki master attuned. I do shamanic healing as well. I'm studying another energy healing system called Chios energy, and like it's the working ceremony space that has really like evolved me as like a healer. And I mean, for me, I don't sort of like see much visually, but like I feel it all in my being. And like, that's where I'm guided, like, do you know what I mean? It's like when I'm in that healing space, it's like I'm not in I take myself out of the way, and like the medicine like works through me. So I need to I go where I need to go, I do what I need to do, and it's kind of like, again, like intuition.
Yeah, like a flow.
Yeah. I'm always guided by like something higher than me. Do you know what I mean? So it's it's a beautiful learning experience. Like, and even after these retreats that we do, I'm definitely more sensitive to like areas as well. I mean, I drive
Yeah.
for a living, like, so I'm like I'm in different areas like every single day, like, and like I feel the change of energy like in the different towns and stuff like this, which is quite interesting. And I remember the other week I was driving in the country somewhere, like, and all the trees had been cut down, and I was driving past them, and I could feel the pain of the trees, and it was like, oh my God, what is that, man? And then I just had this like just like a knowing, it's the trees. And like I was noticing the energy of the trees after they'd been cut down and things like that. Like, it's it's bizarre. I'm definitely more sensitive lately, especially the past year. It's like my my sixth sense is like heightened, like, to another level. It's quite intense sometimes.
Yeah. So is there any techniques you use sort of to ground yourself after a retreat, or a very high vibrational experience?
Yeah, salt baths are like amazing for me.
I'm doing the same at the minute.
Yeah, they are like amazing for me. Barefoot on the grass, again, that's always like a winner, always.
Yeah.
I like to meditate after retreats, and I often have a hape as well, which, for people that don't know, is like Amazonian snuff that you blow up your nose, and like that really, it brings me back into my body. And so yeah.
So I know you do one-to-ones, don't you, Leighton? Do you do like some shamanic work on one-to-one? Is that Reiki?
Yeah, well, I use like I use bits of all the systems that I've trained in, and like I kind of like mish them all together, and like I just do what I'm guided to do. It's been a while since I've done any one-to-ones, but I've done a few distant work lately, which have been like really, really powerful. Not just for me, not just for other people, but for myself as well.
Yeah.
And they are like always.
What does that entail then, Leighton? The distant healing, then what happens there?
I get the client to find a space where they can relax without any distraction, and then I ask them to be open to receive like any kind of energy, and just like explain to them that they might have heat or like any vibrations in the bodies, and then I tune in. My end, I do all my symbols and stuff like this to connect me to source. I invite their higher self into the space with me to make sure that I'm doing it in with integrity. I always ask permission as well, and I call in like my higher self, my guides, and like into the space, and any other entities of like love and light to assist me. And then I just start sending, and it's like I'm in the room with them, but like, it's obviously I don't know what the rooms look like, but it's like I'm in a room with them, and like they lay down in front of me, and I'm just doing what I need to do. And they can be quite pretty powerful. Yeah, there we are. So if anybody would like one, hit me up.
Wow, amazing.
Put the link below. I wanted to ask Leighton, I know it's been coming up to it's gone fast tonight, but it's been really good. A lot of stuff that I'm sure people can gain sort of inspiration and insight from. But I wanted to ask you the question that we've really asked everybody, which is the current situation we find ourselves in and have been in. Okay. And I know we touched on them a little bit, but where do you see, or in your vision, where do you see us going in moving forward and the changes to come? What do you personally sort of envisage and feel?
I'm like really optimistic about the whole thing, to be honest. Like even though we are going to go through a rough time over the next year or two, do you know what I mean? But I do believe at the end of it, again, I'll touch on like the earth changes and the different like age that we're living in now. We're just like witnessing the dismantling of the old paradigm, and like we are going to be birthing a new earth. I mean, it's already happening. I mean, this is why more and more people are waking up. This is why the plant medicines have like reached out to all corners of the earth, like, do you know what I mean? Because they're here to assist us.
Amazing, isn't it? Because if you think it's at the time when all this change, it's Mother Earth, no matter what, is reaching out to help us find ourselves again.
Yeah, that's it. Like, and I do believe that like all these vaccines and stuff are like not quite the last attempt, like, but one of the last attempts to like lock us down in a certain frequency. And but I do believe also that they've got other things down the line, like, do you know what I mean, that we've got to contend with. But I do believe like wholeheartedly that like that we are going to be introduced to our star families soon. I mean, I'm not making any predictions or whatever, like, do you know what I mean? But I do believe that there's going to be some kind of contact in the next few years, and there's a lot of talk of like, well, apparently there's like loads of different things happening with like what's going on, all these chemtrails and stuff like this, like they hiding other objects around the sun and things like that, like, which I don't know, obviously I can't prove it, like, but I think, I mean, that could be a possibility. There's also things like there's going to be an event, like, I mean, I think a couple of the ancient writings have mentioned about like some kind of like solar flash out of the sun, which is going to be like high energy rays just bombarding the earth, which is going to like lift us all up. I mean, I don't know, again, I can't prove that, like, do you know what I mean? But like, I have noticed that like even the heat off the sun is different in a way. I mean, it is on my skin anyway.
I'm with you on that, and quite a few people have. Yeah, I agree with that. Totally.
Yeah. So like, there's quite a lot of information out there. There's a lady called She's like hypnotherapist on YouTube that I've follow, called Alison Co, and she she records her sessions with her clients and stuff, and some of the information that comes through their higher selves and things like this is I mean it is out there if you've never heard any of that information before, do you know what I mean? But I do believe that it's possible, do you know what I mean? I mean, who knows where we're going? I mean, we don't know at the end of the day. I mean, we just go in with the flow, aren't we? And whatever. But I do believe at the end of it, we are going to see amazing changes, and and I do believe that with a hole on my heart. Do you know what I mean? This is why I'm not scared.
Yeah, we feel the same, and it's and as well with that, we're creating it. We're already creating that already by seeing it and feeling it and knowing it, and that is so very, very powerful. Just another little thing I wanted to touch on, and I know we sort of mentioned it a few times, is about other worlds as well. And do you know where this is, what's going now with the sort of raising of our consciousness, that those in other worlds that might sort of want to make closer contact or a clearer contact are sort of waiting for us on the earth to lift our vibrations? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I do believe that that. I mean, they've always been here. They've always been observing us. They've always been keeping an eye. I think after we set off the first nuclear bomb, I think they were right. We need to keep an eye on these guys. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there's been reports of them hovering over nuclear bases and stuff like this, and disarmed all their missiles and things like this. It's I mean, it's all out there. But I do believe that that they won't even entertain us if we're in a place of fear and hatred towards other people. And I mean, we've really got to lift ourselves up. We've really got to realize that we are all one species. We're all here together. We're all here, and I think there will be a tipping point where a certain amount of the people who are waking up are going to reach a certain frequency, and I think that's when they'll make themselves known to us. So we just got to keep doing the work, keep meditating, doing the breath work. The breath work has been amazing for me to lift my vibration. So I really do believe that we got to lift our vibration to a level that they're happy with. Well, and us as well, but so
really
exciting
powerful.
times to come.
Really
exciting. It's a good time to be alive.
Totally. I mean, I am excited. Do you know what I mean? I really am. Even though, I mean, I've got my own stuff going on. Obviously, we all have. But I tend not to let any of it sort of get to me as much. And so it's. I think doing the inner work is the most important thing, because that's where the change happens. We can't change the outside world. I mean, we can only change what's going on inside us, do you know what I mean, in our heads, in our hearts. And once you start changing that, you'll notice the outside world around you will shift and change. You'll meet new people who will be amazing teachers in your life, or triggers even. So
yeah, that's so true. It's be the change you wish to see in the world.
Exactly.
So true. And
so Leighton, do you feel that you know what your divine purpose is? Do you feel that you're on that path now I know we're all, it never stops us at our growth and our experience, but do you sort of feel that, right, I'm on this path, this is what I'm doing, and everything's gone effortless in terms of your spiritual work?
I'm kind of like in and out of it at the moment, because like, I mean, my like work life balance at the moment is just like work all the time. And like, but I do believe that like assisting in ceremony is like really is a part of my divine plan. And like, I mean, eventually I do want to be I do want to be doing all my healing work. I mean, that's where I want to be heading. Like, the reason I moved out of Wales, like initially, was to do like all my training, and then go back to Wales and open like a healing centre in Wales in the valleys. And like that was my intention when I moved. Like, but I was living in house shares and stuff like this for a couple of years, and like it's only last year where like I'm living here now. I've got like a base, and I've started like in March this year, started training to become a breathwork practitioner.
Wow.
And yeah. So like that's been, that's been hard as well, really. Like, 'cause it's bringing up loads of stuff, and but that's where the healing is, isn't it? We've got to like feel to heal. And but yeah, I'm 100% on my path now, like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, really grateful for it.
What's interesting there, Leighton, it is work, isn't it? Anybody that wants to go into the spiritual path, it's not easy, you know.
It's not easy.
No.
And things will come up that you thought you buried, but you will get out on the other side. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and you will feel amazing once you have done the work, once you've cleared your trauma, your pain. You've learned to forgive. You've learned to really heal. And I think you're spot on. If you want to be a healer, learn to heal yourself first. Go within. Observe yourself. Go within.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's like that's the key, isn't it? I mean, it really is the key. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, especially like a lot of the people that I know, they're from Wales and stuff like this, like, is they're just not willing to look at themselves in, maybe I'm being a little bit judgmental, like, because I've like really looked at myself like in ways that I never have, like, but I don't see like a lot of the people that I used to know doing the work. Do you know what I mean? They're just like plodding along on autopilot a lot of the time. And but I do believe that something is going to happen that is going to say, or that's going to make them say, right, okay, I need to really look at myself now. Like, do you know what I mean? Because like, yeah, crazy.
Wow, what's interesting, Leighton, there was one of a shaman that we met not long ago at the center, and he said he wants more lockdowns. He wants more to happen, because in a way you can almost see that a lot of people, not everybody's going back to the material life, this desire of holidays and not caring what's happening in the world. And in a way, has humanity learned? A lot of us have learned and are learning. So in a way, do we need more lockdowns? Do we need more things to happen for people to realize? For people, you know, it's almost shaking people. Look, you know, we can't live in that. We can't live in that illusion anymore.
That's the perfect word as well. Illusion. All my past life, like before I started the path, was it was just an illusion. It really was. And like once we get over the fact that like we are all connected, and that we are like here, like on this miracle called Earth. You know what I mean? And once they realize that, like, we're more than just this meat body with bones and like all kinds of like little creatures inside us, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? At our core, we are just love. And like once people realize that like they can love other people as much as they love themselves, and that's another thing actually, is loving yourself in the ways that you never have. Being like committed to yourself, like in ways like you never have. I mean, that's been a big lesson for me the past week, actually. Like I've always never been committed in like relationships and stuff like that. Like, and it's because I've never been committed to myself, like 100% committed to myself. Like, do you know what I mean? And like,
well, that's powerful, that, Leighton.
Yeah, it was, really, really powerful for me last week. And like, I mean, I've made huge changes in like how I'm using my time after work and stuff in the past week. And again, choices, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's always a choice. Are you going to watch the telly for an hour, or like you're going to go for a walk into nature for an hour? Do you know what I mean? It's all about choices.
Yeah, very powerful.
Oh wow, amazing.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
So just want to thank you so much for sharing your time with us and being so open about your experiences. It's been great to listen to, and I think one of the biggest positives just how open you've been, and I think so many people are going to they're going to really resonate with this, and that's if we can all be this way, you know, and show we've all been through it in some way, shape, or form, and that's in a way we are all one, you know, and the more we share. And yeah, I know we talked about healing retreats and ceremonies, and one of the most powerful parts I find is the sharing. Any form of sharing is so powerful when people are opening up, and the beauty of it, as you go around, they realize, oh, I was a bit nervous about opening up, but I realized I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one going through this and facing things.
Yeah, that's it. Speaking about sharing, I'm setting up a men's group in my hometown in Wales, Llanrwst, and I've done the first one this weekend.
Wow.
And my intention for that is to like, it's a men's group, is to like bring the guys like together and just be open and share if they want to share. Like, do you know what I mean? I mean, there was only 4 of us over the weekend, like, but that was a great turnout for the first one. And so, like, I mean, my intention for it is to really bring a group of guys together to share. And like, we've done about half an hour Wim Hof breathing as well there, which was like amazing. And like, that's what I want to be doing. I want to ask him to like share how they're feeling, and then if they've got anything they want to release, we can do that in the breath work. Amazing. And then that's my intention for it. So
if anybody wanted to join that group or take part, would they be okay? How can they sort of contact you, through Facebook or?
There's a page, Valley Men. So like anybody's welcome. Obviously, it's in Wales. So like if anybody from anywhere that want to come, if they are willing to travel there, they're more than welcome. But yeah, anybody can come. Just contact me, Facebook, or just look for the page Valley Men.
Yeah, we'll share that on wherever you're watching or listening to us. We'll share a link below, so you'll be able to go direct to that page if you want to.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Sounds a really good group to be part of. I just want to thank you once again, Leighton. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you. Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Are you ready for the next one then?
Yeah. We'll talk again. Definitely. Yeah.
Fantastic. And just want to thank everybody for joining us. As always, we could sort of feel your love and energy, and I know from lots of the comments everybody's really enjoyed it. And thanks for supporting the Purple Mountain, and just lots of love to everyone. We're going to say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Nice one. Bye-bye.